All right, on today's show, we're gonna do probably part one of our MCU updated 2024 tier rankings. Look at that! What a great layout. So the way this works is, and there's a few rules that I haven't told these guys about, so it's gonna make it a lot more fun. First of all, we all get one
Veto.
during this. I guess during each of the show, each of us gets a Thanos snap, which means that we can do whatever we want with the film, including put it in an S tier or dumping it all the way to D, no matter what everybody else on the panel says.
Whoa. All right.
The other rule is that out of every series other than Avengers, you can only have one S tier. So we have to fight it out. So, for example, out of the four Thor films, only one of them can be in the S tier,
That's
and
easy.
there's no requisite for all the other ones. But yeah, just because I don't want to end up with like whatever. Like, there's
Yeah.
no way all the Spider-Man films are S tier or whatever whatever you want to say. So, those are the rules. Them are the rules. These are in no specific order. If anything, I think they're kind of arranged by franchise. So we'll kind of go here and we'll get through the first 17, which is halfway at least. And I know Clay's gonna have to step away in about 20 minutes, maybe. So maybe we'll get through the first whatever 8, 9 to get to the
Yeah.
halfway point. Take a break. Maybe we'll talk a little wrestling from last night. All right, so let's get the show on the road. Let's start with, and I'll move them to the middle tier. We'll start with Captain America, the First Avenger. Any strong feelings or any inclination of where to put this?
So go over the tiers with me. So S tier is absolute best.
S
A
tier is
is like
best. Yeah, A is good. Good, pretty good. B is average. C is maybe falters a little bit, and then D is like probably something you don't even you regret watching, or maybe not regret watching, but like something you wouldn't want to revisit anytime
I
soon.
I we live in a great time of comic book movies, and to put anything on a D tier is just insulting because we have this fucking universe. So I always hate when people are like, "Oh, this is just so awful," because man, you guys didn't live through the 70s and 80s. Like you didn't
That's
live
why
through the rough eras of no
that's
comic
why
book
there's no
movies.
F tier, right? Because F tier would be like whatever, like
Trash.
F tier would be like trash. D is the one where you're like, maybe I don't want to rewatch this because there's a lot of problems with this film. It's just not a very good film, whatever the case. D is the bottom,
Oh,
compared to. So
okay,
so
no,
if we
no.
were doing Disney Plus shows, Secret Wars or not Secret Wars, what is it? Secret Invasion. Secret
Secret
Invasion would be
Invasion would be in the F.
F.
Yes.
Yeah.
I
So
I think that because there are so many, you look at that and you do say that that was done poorly. There's a lot of bad CGI, a lot of bad green screen. That they had the opportunity to make that better than it could be. So
yeah,
that's almost the argument for an F tier right there.
yeah. So this is only the films and only the Marvel MCU proper films. So I'm not including, even though like Venom is not part of the multiverse or whatever. Like we're not including any of that stuff. This is just sacred timeline, I guess you would want to call it, except for Deadpool Wolverine. I don't know.
I mean,
Listen, I don't know.
once you guys watch the Bike Riders, you're going to say Venom who after you watch Tom Hardy in this film, man. He
That's right.
he owns this movie.
That's right. All right. So Captain America: First Avenger. Any initial rating that you guys want to
A.
throw out there?
I say A. I say
I say A.
it takes all of the great things about the origin of Captain America and puts him through all of it.
See, I want to say B because as much fun as the movie is, I think it's just a fine movie. I don't think it does anything. I don't know that it elevates any character. It's a little bit.
It packs in everything. It packs in the supporting cast that we will never see
I
again, and in the Howling Commandos. You
and that's
see,
part of it. I wish we got more Stanley Tucci as opposed to Tommy Lee Jones kind of phoning in his performance.
But I
but
think
that's
Chris
who Tommy Lee
Evans.
Jones is. So
Yeah,
No,
that's
I've
true.
seen good Tommy Lee Jones. I've seen Tommy Lee Jones put effort into movies.
Oh yeah, No Country for Old Men is top tier
Yeah,
Tommy Lee
so
Jones. This
if that
this is
was
him just being like a grumpy
yeah,
old man.
and I also feel like they didn't completely have the voice of who Captain America was yet. Like I
Oh,
think
I
they
think
got
they
there by
did.
the end, but it
I
does
think
feel
they
like a
did.
little disjointed. So I want to put it
The
at B only
Peggy
because
Carter romance that ends Avengers Endgame is Captain America's romance, and that is developed in this movie. So I feel like to put it at B is to diminish that love story
see,
that
I feel like
a run like
you're
that.
bringing in your Endgame love into this movie.
It's
See,
all
I disagree with Dan because I think that Chris Evans nails Steve's character from the get go, and
Okay.
so from this movie forward, you kind of know where Cap stands because he goes through Civil War and stuff going forward. But this movie is the one where all that stuff gets paid off because he is he is Steve Rogers from the get go. He is just like he's the one that dives on the grenade, powerless. Like
he
he
goes to
he
save the kid when the kid's thrown in the water, and he's like, "Hey, I could swim," but like Cap is
he's
genuinely worried about him.
he doesn't know what fondue means. He's like very aw shucksy kind of the whole
Okay.
way through his whole thing. And I think he sets this up like from the get go. I'm trying to think of where my biases are, and I'm like, I do like this is Joe Johnston that directs it because he directed The Rocketeer. But even then, The Rocketeer and this movie still have that same kind of like World War II, like
Yeah.
it fits the vibe that they need
Yeah.
Cap
Or,
to fit.
Howard Stark, Howard Hughes, who knows? I mean, they might be the same thing.
Right, right.
Yeah, it really
What?
is a great film. I think
All
it's
right.
A.
Well, all right. Fine. I'll acquiesce. We'll put it in A.
He
But
punches
whenever
out
we have to,
Hitler. He sings. He dances. The whole
well, yeah.
everything that's Cap in a huge time period is encapsulated into one film.
All right. No cap.
Also, I will say, Phase One movies, I tend to go a little bit lighter on because we're still just coming out of X-Men wearing leather. Like studios are afraid to make comic book movies still a little bit. They're still a little tentative on it,
Okay.
going
Okay.
full on in.
Fair enough. I'm just shuffling the movies around a little bit, so it's more of a chronological order. It makes a little more sense to talk about them in the context. All right, next movie, Iron Man. For the original Iron Man.
I mean, it built the Marvel universe. If it's still a great watch. It's Robert Downey Jr. being Tony Stark. I mean, if
I
we don't have that, we don't have the payoff in Endgame too.
well, I love
It's
Iron Man as a movie standalone too. Like if that had been the only Marvel movie we had received, like I would have been like, well, we flew too high to the sun and now we are back down to earth. I my only I don't normally want to like go back and mess with movies, but I'm like, if they could just put Don Cheadle in this movie,
yes.
it would be so freaking good. And this is whatever. I don't care about the other. What's his name? Howard. What's his name? What's the name of the actor that they replaced?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
whatever.
Terrence Howard. Terrence Howard.
Terrence
Terrence
Howard.
Howard. Terrence Howard. So my thinking is this an S tier or an A tier? That's what I'm kind of fighting with.
I'm S
I would
tier with
definitely put
Iron
it
Man.
above. I would definitely put it above Cap.
Yeah, I think it goes S tier for
Yeah, I
me.
think it goes S tier. I
S
mean,
tier.
really, it's all on Downey's shoulders, and he carries it the whole way. Even with the pivot at the end of instead of being anonymous, he says he's Iron Man. Like I kind of love that pivot because it makes you want to go into the next movie.
And Leonard Kim's ranking, no movie would be below B. All right, that's
All
fair
right,
enough.
obviously hasn't seen Thor: Dark World.
That suit is so beautiful. That very first suit looks so
Yeah.
good. Also, it has the advantage of being the first movie. So
Yeah.
again, like we don't know what we're getting into, but it's also like the one that doesn't have to worry until the very, very end about tying itself to anything. So it is a complete story from front to back.
I
It
love
sets us up for the
the
sequel. Like it's the whole thing.
I love the bold choice of Barbara. Like, we're gonna tell you who the villain is, but you won't be able to understand it because you don't speak Urdu. But we're gonna leave it in there. That's really fun.
Yeah.
Like, because there was people that do speak that language, and they were like, "What the hell?" Because so that was fun to like see afterwards. All right, I do want to keep this train moving a little bit. The original Thor, Kenneth Branagh's Dutch angled living Thor. Uh, I don't mind a Kenneth Branagh film actually.
It's a B.
Overall, yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I
kind of
like.
happy where it is right now.
Yeah,
Me too. Actually, that kind of fell right into the. Darcy's such a fun character that's introduced.
exactly.
So give me 1 second. You guys talk about
We got
we
we
can.
get a lot of working pieces in that movie. It's just not put together super great. And weirdly, all alone, they all do kind of feel like I love Kenneth Branagh movies. They're so theatrical because he's Kenneth Branagh. We've grown to love Chris Hemsworth, Natalie Portman. I can't remember her name who plays Darcy. Like all the pieces are there. It just is kind of weirdly put together. I think, and I
But
think some of that is budgeting issues and whatnot. But like,
we
because
get
it's
to
like
see
we're going to New Mexico.
Asgard, cinematic Asgard. We get to see the throne. I mean, there are
Yeah,
some really cool pieces that are set
Yeah.
up in this.
Anthony
But
Hopkins,
Anthony
Loki,
Hopkins just being or just being Odin.
Odin.
Yeah.
Like it's just so great to kind of watch these things in play that we've only seen on paper.
Yeah.
It just the design and everything. I just love that, and all the characters, the Warriors 3 and Sif that show up in this. We get a little bit of them. I almost wish we could spend more time to get to know them better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next film, The Incredible Hulk. The This is where Marvel was still not sure what the heck they were playing with. They had to share their toy box with Universal. Um, I like this film, but I do want to put it in the context of everything else we're talking about. So I would understand if this ends up at a C. I think there's some really fun
I
stuff in
think
it.
I think there's fun stuff in it. It's a solid B. Norton. I always look at Norton as like the darkest Hulk. Like I feel like he not only would he want to get control of the Hulk, but I think his banner is not necessarily the sanest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I almost feel like this is another universe that maybe if we could get all the Hulks together, that this would be the darkest version that becomes
Mm.
Maestro. Because in
Yeah.
Ed
Or
Norton, imagine like I thought of this idea of like Mark Ruffalo wants to help. He's been the most effective Hulk that we've ever seen because he doesn't lose control. But what if he's now that he knows that a multiverse exists, that he goes looking through to help the others that never quite succeeded, but he accidentally pulls in a Ned Norton who will become Maestro, someone who's dark that he can't help. And his the only mad scientist part of Ruffalo's Hulk is that he wants to help people, and it kind of ruins our universe.
yeah, no, that makes sense. I do like Blonsky a lot. I think Tim Roth is
Tim Roth is
fantastic.
so good.
William Hurt, of course, Thunderbolt Ross. Um, yeah,
Some
yeah. I
good
mean,
action scenes in it.
yeah.
You know.
Oh, the school, the stuff at the college. Oh, that's so
Mhm.
good.
Yeah, references
Um,
the old TV show. We get to see him use shit as a car. He tears a car in half and uses it as boxing gloves.
yeah,
I mean,
that's
that's
really
so
cool.
cool.
That's a cool fight. They destroyed the Bronx, even though like the, I love that because back then everything was supposed to be connected. Like they destroyed the Bronx, but then we see the Bronx in some of the Netflix stuff, and like it looks brand new, like nothing ever happened. So
But they do
that's really
reference
fun.
it. They do reference it.
They do, but like it's almost as if they were forced to reference it. Um, so
They reference it like it was a snowstorm or something.
yeah,
I'm good with it staying at like the low B level, high C. Um, it is kind of the weird outlier of the whole thing because it is not a full Marvel production. Maybe we just think it is just because it has that distinction. And
Well,
Edward Norton is no longer around.
in the end credit scene does introduce Tony Stark in that movie.
Yeah.
that's right. That's right. Um,
Uh,
okay, let's move. So are we good with the B?
yeah.
Yeah,
We can always move these around later on if we feel like.
No,
You
they're
know,
locked.
when we have more context. All right, Iron Man 2. My my immediate gut says C,
See, I agree.
and it's
I
just
don't want to
because
argue that it's bad, but I mean, really, the thing I Whiplash isn't. Whiplash is a great performance, but he is like a D-list
he's.
villain at best. But he's performed well. I mean, Mickey Rourke is really fucking great as a
I
character
feel
that's
like
pretty ridiculous in the comics.
Mickey Rourke is in his own movie. Like he's in another movie. We
Is
do
what's
get
his name
Sam
coming back?
Rockwell.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell
Sam,
coming back
Sam
from one of these
I
movies.
hope so.
He better.
I hope so because it would be such a way. But at this point, he's just done so much other stuff that I'm like, what? Unless it's a lot of money. Oh, see, Sam Rockwell could have been Doom, like a Justin Hammer from another universe that became Doom. Listen, I'm not mad at
Oh
that.
shit. I It
Um,
does have some great things. I mean, Justin Hammer just being like he really kind of takes on that role really well when he interacts with
yeah,
Whiplash. But seeing him kind of be Sam Rockwell and dance out on stage is fun. Like he brings that fun element to it.
yeah.
And just how cheap he is. Like the thing that really disgraces this film is Elon Musk being in it. And I wish they could digitally remove him and put in anyone else.
Put in
Like
Terrence Howard.
Terrence Howard to play the billionaire tech guy.
It's really interesting, right? Because that was when we all thought that, oh, maybe Elon Musk is like Iron Man, and then we realized that he's not.
Oh no,
Uh,
there's he's just a piece of shit.
we also see I think
He's there to reference Justin Hammer, is what we all found out.
yeah, the previous founder of Oracle was also in the movie, and now his son owns Paramount or something. It's weird how things change when
Yet
rich
yet
people,
that they stay the same as the rich stay
yeah,
rich.
rich people with rich people with tech money come into other industries. All right. Well, let's stay on. Well, actually, let's do this one first since it's
And Iron Man and War Machine have to use a party trick to defeat
yeah,
the villain at the end, so it's kind of a lame ass ending
that's
too.
right. And RIP DJM.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
All right, let's go with the Avengers.
A
A beneath Captain America, though, I think.
Oh, okay. I agree with the A. I think I would put this above Captain America. So I think Clay, you might
Yeah,
be
I
the
would too.
deciding.
I would put it above Captain America
The
because
only,
we
so the only reason I think below, because my gut instinct says above Cap 2, but as like a movie, I was just thinking. So it's the first movie to pull off anything like this, and for me, like when I think about this on in my own, I'm like that's kind of got a S tier quality to it, but the movie itself is not an S tier. What it pulled off is.
Mm,
So
yes.
I'm like, it is kind of a disjointed movie. It's kind of, you know, it's like as a movie itself. Like if you think of something like The Magnificent Seven that also pulls all these things together, and they go off and do something like far better movie. But the hype around this movie and the fact that we were familiar with all these characters beforehand, and it's tethering all these things together, like it blew my mind going to see it at the midnight screening whenever I went and saw it opening night. And I'm just like, I can't believe we're getting this, and I still get a little like when I'm watching it on TV the first time Iron Man meets Captain America. It's still exciting, like you think back, that's the first time that's ever seen that happen in the theaters,
mhm.
or
I
in a
mean, that
movie.
one shot of the team shot with the circle
The
cam
circle and
is
stuff.
that's iconic, and so
The
uh,
score,
But
the
the
score of this
score,
film. I mean,
there's a lot to love. But then when I think about like, I don't know, there's just like some stuff that feels disjointed to it.
mm,
It's some of the dialogue is Joss Whedon funny, some of it's Joss Whedon corny, some of it is
if we were talking the next Avengers film, I would agree more with you on that, Jeff.
yeah,
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah. Ultron
but
is definitely a victim of Joss
I
Whedon.
feel
yeah. But I'm fine with
strongly.
it being above Cap too. So
Okay.
I'm not gonna argue about it, but
All right.
definitely A tier.
Let's go with. Let's finish off our Iron Man trilogy with Iron Man 3. Shane
It
Black,
is,
Christmas movie.
yeah. Shane Black, Christmas movie. Lets Robert Downey kind of own the whole movie and run it himself. I I still think it's a solid B.
I get high B, really low A.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh wow, you guys feel a lot stronger about this film than I do. I feel like the middle of it is just so boring. Like I rewatched it
Yeah.
recently, and it's like it's fun, it's cool. Then the middle of it is like let anytime Tony's out of the suit, like after he meets with the kid,
Yeah.
it is really boring. And then things catch back up, and he comes in. He's captured, goes to that fortress, whatever. The big Mandarin reveal, which I actually think is really fun. But man, that middle part just makes it. Whereas I feel even just looking at the other bees, like Thor and
See,
Incredible Hulk are kind of nonstop go. Like I don't feel like there's a big weak part in the middle for either one of those.
But there's also an
Um,
element of Tony as a mentor to this kid because this is before he meets Peter. So also in rewatching it, you kind of see how Tony deals with that. Like he's not really comfortable. He's not the best, but at the end, he can kind of give this kid a bunch of money and thinks, and he's like, well, this kid will grow from this. This kid will learn because, he was inquisitive like I was.
hmm,
so this is also not John Favreau. This is Shane Black. So I tend
yeah,
to think of this as a Shane Black Marvel movie first,
Yeah.
then a Marvel movie. Because I also once heard Kevin Feige in an interview say, like, if we get to a third movie on any of these things, like, all bets are off. We're going to do whatever because we've already made our first two movies. Like, let's experiment with the third one.
yeah.
So I feel like this is the first time they're like, I don't know, fuck it. See what Shane Black's got, the guy that did Lethal Weapon, like what's he gonna do to a comic book movie?
I do I
And I
do love
really
the
enjoy that kind of Shane
yeah.
Blackiness
Yeah. And
dialogue and
if you've seen Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, like he uses Robert Downey Jr. as a narrator in there, he uses him in this, and it's very effective to have that voiceover. Where typically it's a cop out, in a Shane Black movie, it elevates it.
yeah,
I do think it's funny. I believe this is where they reveal that he was talking to Hulk, right? Or to
yeah,
Bruce at the
to
end,
Bruce.
like the whole time. He was
Yeah,
telling the
yeah, yeah.
story. Okay. All right. So where in the bees are we putting? I don't know that I would put this above Thor, but I would be okay with putting it above Hulk.
Yeah,
I
I'm good
would
with
put it
that.
above both of those.
Oh, okay, Jeff. What do you think?
Uh I would put it above Thor. Yeah, I would put it above Thor. I just think that the
No,
character development in it is so good because it also has to deal with his PTSD stuff from Avengers.
I don't like being outvoted, but that is so is democracy. Here we are.
You
Yeah,
could
I
use
think
your
Um,
snap. You could
seeing
use
Tony
snap to
deal
win
with
that
it.
one spot back.
Yeah, do you have a snap?
no, I'm not gonna waste it on
You'd have
Thor.
wasted on Thor.
Speaking of Thor: The Dark
Ooh.
World. My
I would say that I've really tried to rewatch this, but when I have, I've fallen asleep.
my
And I really loved Christopher
yeah.
Eccleston. And then I've seen in the comics, like War of the Realms, how you can use this character and make him better than this. So it's the fact that they've kind of failed on all fronts that I go, well, it should be D, but it's not
I
total crap.
I think it should be D, and as much as so Endgame recolored a lot of this film for me, but I
Mhm.
feel like that's cheating. Like I feel like unfortunately Eccleston is wasted as a villain.
Yep.
Um, I think the best performance in this movie is probably Loki. Like, and we don't get a lot of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, and this movie feels like very disjointed, kind of like Jeff was talking about uh, with the Avengers. That I definitely would agree on this one. Yeah, so I would say this one is a D, and
I would agree.
I don't like crapping on movies, but Thor: The Dark World just
Yeah, it could have been a lot better for the
yeah.
second film. They already had already created a foundation. It should have done more.
I
Yeah,
do say I want to say that the director, I don't even know who directed that movie, did kind of hem and haw about wanting to release a director's cut of this movie
who was it?
during
Zack
all the
Snyder?
during all the Zack Snyder stuff. And then what's his name got on it with Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
He wanted to release the David Ayer Suicide Squad cut, and
Yeah.
then this guy was just like, "Let me release the Thor Dark World cut." And I'm just like,
Alan Taylor is the director.
"Oh, okay, there
You
you
know,
go." Yeah,
Patty Jenkins was originally slated to direct this.
that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then
Oh,
she went to do Wonder Woman instead. All
well, he
right,
could have
Good
had.
choice.
let's do another origin film here with the first Ant-Man movie.
I will bring up though the what we really got robbed of was an Edgar Wright Ant-Man movie, which would have been
Yeah.
insane. But I do feel that Adam McKay directed this and kind of took over with some elements that Edgar Wright had in it. It's still a passable and fun movie. It's a Paul Rudd movie. He's going to carry all of Ant-Man, and it's funny.
I agree.
Okay.
Is it Adam McKay who directed it? I don't think
I thought it
so.
was the guy from that did a lot of the Peyton Reed.
Oh, it's Peyton
Peyton
Reed.
Reed.
Okay, he was I guess executive producer on it.
Yeah, Peyton Reed, because I remember he did like some of the Office work and too, and so he's good with the comedy, and I think it works really well with the heist aspect of it. It's probably the best of the Ant-Man films.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, definitely.
So I would say maybe A. I just don't know where within the A's.
Below Captain America, I think it's right. It's perfect where it is.
That's where
it's
Ant-Man
a very
would
fun
want
heist
to.
movie.
I think Ant-Man would agree. Like Scott Lang would be like, "There's no way you're putting me above Captain America, anyway." So
That's
Steve, Cap, Captain Rogers, Mr. America.
That's right.
I got to step away if y'all want to vamp.
All right, so we're gonna when we come back, we're gonna talk about Guardians. So start thinking about it, Clay. You seem very enthused when I mentioned that Guardians was next. Now, I do want to remind you that only one of the Guardians films can be in the S tier. So I don't want you to prematurely
use my snap.
Yeah, I'm just warning you. Because
you don't want to S tier too early, Clay. Don't S tier too early.
If it's Guardians, it's A tier or better. So the first Guardians movie elevated a book that really I don't feel like anyone was reading it. The Guardians, the old Guardians and the new Guardians. The new Guardians started 2006. Abnett and Lanning.
Yeah,
it's definitely an A tier. I mean, it's hard to argue what James Gunn did with Guardians didn't secure him the job at DC. Or maybe it was the Suicide Squad movie he took over to secure him the job at DC. But these are the foundation of superhero movies that really pull the heartstrings, and I think that's what he's going to do at DC. So I'm going to say it's A tier because I feel like one of the other two films is the S tier.
See, I think this is my S tier because it's the first one. It's also the one. So like this is the way the Guardians plays out. So if you are a mama's boy, you love the first one. If you're a daddy's boy or a girl, you love the second one. And then the third one is the third one. Not that the third one's bad, but I feel like the third one, James Gunn, has to deal with what the Russos did in Endgame, which is not, and he's also coming off of being fired from Disney, getting rehired and stuff like that. There's a lot that, in my mind, it doesn't necessarily show in the film, but there's a lot more to that movie in my mind that kind of is taking place in that movie. But for me, the first one always makes me tear up. I get choked up watching the first one every time I've watched it, no matter what. Even if I'm not watching the full thing, just watching clips of it, I'm like, ugh. As soon as they start, I'm a mom's boy. So as soon as they're like dead mom tape at the end of the thing, I'm just like, ugh. So for me, that's a S tier.
Oh, interesting. See, I think that I just really love all the character work for Rocket, which is probably why the third one is. I mean, they're almost equal footing. I'll probably put this at the top of the A's.
Yeah,
I'm good with that.
But if you guys decide that this is the S tier Guardians of the Galaxy movie, I also won't fight y'all on that. It's like
since we could only have one, I would have to fight because I feel I'm not the mama's boy or the daddy's boy. I am a
The
raccoon
Rocket
man.
Boy.
Like,
I am a rocket boy.
like I'm the trash panda of the family.
The trash
I'm
panda.
the trash panda. So I mean, for me, 3 pays off in multiple ways. I mean, there's just so much in 3, but I can't. I don't want to really get into it until we get there.
I do
One has
also,
such a strong foundation. It's so good.
weirdly,
Yeah.
I will also go into needle droppage, and I think 3 has the best needle drops.
Uh, yeah, I don't think I'm all gonna
Yeah,
fight
I
them.
don't think I'm going to argue with that. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
let's see. Next up, I think this should be a good. So we have 1, 2, we have 5, 8, 9, 10. So okay, yeah. So we'll do it. Let me see if I want to do it this way. Yeah, let's do it this way. So we end with Winter Soldier. So we'll do these 7. So 17 is the halfway point. We'll do 17 movies today. Let's talk about Doctor Strange. And I want let me start with this one because I don't know why I really like this film. I want to put this at an A tier somewhere in the mix. I don't think it's at the top of the A's, but for me, I love rewatching this film. I think Scott Derrickson visually does some really cool stuff, and I really the ending of it, like the whole Dormammu, like is just such a fun, clever thing. Yeah, this I really like this movie. I keep
It's
hyping
great.
myself about it. So I want to put it somewhere in the A's. Do you guys have any strong opinions on Doctor Strange?
I like it right where it is. I think it's an A tier, and I think it's perfect casting. I mean, and you could say like, well, Cumberbatch is doing like the smartest guy in the room, like Tony Stark. Well, they're both the smartest guys in the room. There'll always
Yeah.
be an Iron Man and a Doctor Strange in the Illuminati. How do these two compare? And we see it later in Infinity War, where they kind of go head to head.
Yeah.
But Cumberbatch does such a great Doctor Strange, who's just so in love with himself and has to learn to love others.
And it's very interesting because, like you mentioned, Cumberbatch plays the smartest person in the room until he's not, and he realizes that, and that's the turning point of the movie. But Jeff, where do you stand on Doctor Strange?
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys have said so far. I do love the thing I love most about this movie is the ending. How it's not a big giant fight scene. It's a puzzle that gets solved.
Dormammu?
Um, yes. Yeah, I'm good with where it sits right now. Doctor Strange is such a weird character for me because I'm like I really like Doctor Strange, but I find myself not loving Doctor Strange, but I really like Doctor Strange, I
Yeah.
just that's just kind of where I'm at with him.
Sorry that I'm shuffling these around. I'm trying to get
Oh
them
no,
more in the release order, kind of,
yeah. I
at least
mean,
from what I
we get
remember.
a Mads Mikkelsen villain, and I
Yeah.
don't feel like he's used. I mean, anytime you use Mads,
Papa Pedro is about to be the smartest man.
he
He
is.
sure
He
is.
is. The Council of Reeds too.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, I almost feel like casting Mads Mikkelsen in a first one. I feel like he's more of a third film villain, because you want that guy to kind of chew the scenery and just be evil. But he's perfect in this for everything they do. I think there's problem. A lot of the visuals look very much like they were lifted from Inception, you know, but they've evolved. So I do love
Yeah.
that. We've seen the mirror dimension. We've seen uh, pages that look like they were just drawn like by Steve Ditko. That
Oh
was
yeah.
kind of the coolest part of those worlds that we get to see, and it was very effective. But it's still like there. I don't know if it's an element of fun that because we get Ant-Man, but that's who that character is. Does
That
Doctor
was
Strange just have to be sad? Like, because
that's
that's
what I
kind of
wanted
who
to
that
do.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare. I did want to argue that this should be above Ant-Man just because personally I prefer like the drama horror thing on top, like as opposed to the comedy, but that may not be everybody's take, so I don't know if everybody's gonna fight me on that.
I would put it above Ant-Man. I also enjoy like this. The cast on this movie is amazing,
Mm.
and probably like wasted is the wrong word, but for a one-off movie where you're just like you don't get to see these people, you may or may not.
Whatever, bring
Chiwetel
him back.
Ejiofor has popped back up, but like these guys
Bring
are
Matt.
all
Bring Matt Mickelson back as Doom.
yeah. This is a
Everybody's gonna
banger
be
cast.
Doom.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be. Yeah, Matt
Everybody's gonna be
Mickelson would have made a
Doom.
great Doom.
Council of Dooms. Oh shit! Now I kind of hype myself up for that scene. Actually, that wouldn't work. Doctor Doom is too big of an ego to work in a council. Isn't there a story where he goes out and kills every other Doom to become like the one or something?
Yeah, I thought that there were the evil versions in Secret Wars that were on a life raft of the big bads from all the worst timelines.
Oh, I need to go back and check some of those out. I forget.
During the
Oh,
Hickman run, the Council of Reeds would kidnap all the Dooms from the different universes and make them
God.
their like slaves, basically.
Oh my God. Who's the real villain there?
Yeah.
All right. Let's talk Age of Ultron.
Oof.
Yeah, I know. I
It's
know.
still
It
it's still
could have
pretty
been so
fun.
much better.
Yeah,
And
it's
and
still
I
pretty
hate that
fun
I'm
movie.
saying that.
Yeah. Where are we at? I mean I think it's better than I think it definitely should be on the B's. I just don't it's probably better than the Hulk and Thor at least.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah. Oh,
even Iron
better.
Man.
Yeah. I mean, James Spader, like picking
Yeah.
a voice of a robot who has like just the pauses and the inflections that he has was a great choice.
So good. I love that scene where they're all trying to lift up the hammer.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, James Whedon is so fucking good at doing stuff like that, which is like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, right? And just, and
It
yeah,
if Joss Whedon would just learn like just put the fun stuff and let someone else write the dialogue because
yeah.
some of his dialogue's a little
And we get some fun
dated.
stuff. We get the introduction of Pietro and Wanda. We get the Vision coming to life.
And
Uh,
a wild choice of what to do with Pietro.
yeah. Oh,
You know,
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean
yeah.
that's a choice. That's really wild to just say, you know what, we're just going to have him in here, and that kind of elevates Scarlet Witch to another level.
Mhm.
And then we get to the end, and we think we're going to get to hear the Avengers Assemble call. Like there's a lot of cool shit, but
And we get one of my childhood crushes, Linda Cardellini, in the mix too.
Oh, that's right.
yeah, we get a whole different Hawkeye story.
Hawkeye's secret family. Cool. All right. Are we good with the B there at the top of the B's?
Yeah, Top of the Beast.
B
Yeah,
movie?
it's fine.
All right. Cool. Let's talk about Black Panther, the original Black Panther.
S.
I mean, I'm not gonna.
That's a
Yeah.
cool movie. That is a
S.
cool movie. That's an S movie.
Okay.
I mean, Oscar nominated. I mean, that hero, Chadwick Boseman, on screen and off. You know, the guy who carried through the Avengers movie Sick, who elevated superheroes to just a whole different level. And that film just so star-studded, and he carries so much of it, and it's just great. Like he's a king. He suffers. His fam. Oh man, it's just. I mean, it's Shakespeare on screen with fucking superheroes.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, I love it. I love Killmonger. I think he's a fantastic villain. One of the best
Perfect
villains.
villain.
Probably. What was it? Was it before? This was before Endgame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
they had filmed this and they didn't realize like when they were yelling Wakanda forever and fighting, like how big that battle cry had become because of
That's
the
right.
first
That's right.
of Battle of Black Panther.
Yeah. So yeah, that was really good. It's really, really. I love that movie. So.
And you feel
Okay.
his absence in the second film.
Oh yeah.
The second film is just sad. You go through every part of it, you know, feeling like you've lost something because you're just relating to the characters on film.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, I'm
S
snapping.
tier. S
This is
tier.
This is
This is the
uh
best of Cap.
now the thing is gonna be, I think when we get to the end, we're gonna have to rank the S tiers once they're all there.
Easily done.
We'll figure it out, but for now we'll just put it here. Yeah, it's my favorite
I'm
MCU film.
ranking too. Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly.
Okay, perfect.
I mean,
All right, we're good.
it's S tier and it has Batroc the Leaper in it. I love it.
And Crossbones.
And Crossbones. Fuck
Crossbones.
yes.
Yeah. So all right, we're gonna make it all the way. So I'm saving some of the big hitters till the next part of it. As you can see, Avengers and Endgame, all that stuff. Move that over to the end. So we're gonna make it all the way to Civil War, and we'll
Okay.
kick off with Spider-Man next turn around. So let's do Captain Marvel. Where are we on
I
Captain
think
Marvel?
she's A tier.
I agree.
And I think she's above Ant-Man. Yeah, I think she's above Ant-Man.
Jeff?
She's A tier. I'm trying to see who's okay. So it goes.
So it's
Who's number four?
it's Guardians, Avengers, Captain America, First Avenger, Doctor Strange, and then now we have Captain Marvel for now.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Okay.
It's a fun 90s throwback.
Yeah.
My it's only almost another tribute to Shane Black with kind of the mirror copy of what was his other movie with Gina. Jesus Christ.
I don't know what you're talking about, Clay, so can't help you there. I'm sorry. I'm usually pretty good at charades.
What is Gina? Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I know. Gina Davis. Long Kiss Goodnight, because that was the 90s action film with Samuel L. Jackson and this woman who is a badass. And now we have this other one where this woman's a badass and he's trying to figure her out as Nick Fury. I mean, it's really the first hero he's encountered, correct?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We get to see a young Coulson. I mean, and it has a fucking great soundtrack. We see the Kree. I kind of would love to see more of the Kree just because we had this idea in the first Captain Marvel movie was a society run by AI. And now she's destroyed it in the second film, but we don't get to see what that destruction does other than Hela coming after, or not Hela, but who's the accuser in the second film?
Ronan?
Not Ronan. Oh. In in the Marvels, the accuser.
I don't know. I don't remember her name.
Yeah. I love the first film a lot more than the second film. And I think it's solid she has a huge history, but really the best history of who Captain Marvel is started with Kelly Sue DeConnick.
Yeah, I agree. And I think the only complaint I have of Captain Marvel is like the little wonky CGI at the end, that last fight.
And she's a girl.
They're out in the open. Yeah, that's my other complaint. She doesn't smile enough, guys.
She's gross.
And she cuts sandwiches weird. And she cuts sandwiches weird. And she's always in that room with the little kid.
Have you not seen the Long Kiss Goodnight?
No, I don't know what you're talking about, Clay.
Shane Black, fucking. That's
you can say Shane Black some more. I'm still not gonna have seen that film.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I like Shane Black movies. Definitely should check it out next to Captain Marvel and appreciate Samuel L. Jackson a little more.
I do appreciate Samuel Jackson.
Blockbuster hasn't been open for 12 years, so
yeah, I enjoy for the most part Shane Black movies, other than that Predators film that he made.
We need to come up with a. Sorry to sidetrack again, but like. This should be a list of movies that people will never watch because Blockbuster and TNT are no longer like people don't have cable television to watch that one movie that TNT would show 400,000 times.
Yeah.
What I wanna do also is a list of your favorite movies that are free on YouTube, because in my personal YouTube, not my personal, but like in my Google account, that's my personal email. Sometimes I switch it like to do stuff and I'm on YouTube and I'm like, oh, there's all these free movies, and they like I'll be playing something and they'll just start playing And I'm like, oh, maybe
Mhm.
there's. I mean, you can watch them with ads, but whatever. That's a whole other show. All right, let's do. We got 2 more films. We're already at over 2 hours, so let's kind of wrap this up. Let's do. What about Black Widow?
Oh, I forgot about it.
I
I love Black Widow.
I also really love Black Widow. Man, that opening, holy moly!
Yeah,
It's
that's
got
just
some
so.
problems. Um,
But it
I would
really
say,
comes down to that great scene at the dinner table, like
yeah.
this dysfunctional family that one thinks they were a family, everyone else thinks they weren't, yet they had this connection. I
I- I'm
I
I'm,
I
I'm
kind of
leaning
love
high
it, but I
B or
think there are
low
some
A.
problems with the action.
I'm leaning high B or low A. But I don't know. You guys can steer us.
Now that I've
She deserved a better film.
Yeah, an
She
earlier
deserved
film.
an earlier, better film, not one after she died.
I'd say
We get
bottom A.
Yelena. Yelena's in it. Yeah, I'd go high
Red
B.
Guardian. And she's the only one of that. I mean, I could just snap and say she's S tier because she really has no other films. But
That's true. But there's still all these
I
other.
think she's an A. I think Black Widow's an A film. I do rewatch that a lot. I love the family dynamic in it and just how broken they are.
I'm
And
okay with.
just
I'm okay with that.
Yelena is so great in it.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with this here. Um. Okay. Last film for this round. Captain America: Civil War to complete. I think this completes our second trilogy because we completed Iron Man.
It's A.
Uh,
It's definitely an A
A.
tier.
I agree. I just is it better than? Well, I guess let's go kind of through it. Is it better than Black Widow?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it better than Ant-Man?
Yes.
Is it better
Yes.
than Captain Marvel?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it better than Doctor Strange?
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I'll acquiesce. Is it better than the first Avenger?
Yes. Zemo's villain is so calculating, and everything he does, it's
Ah, that's
great.
true.
Zemo,
I think it's also doing a lot more than the first Avenger.
It's really Avengers 3.5,
It's really Avengers
Right.
3.5.
not Captain America 3.
I would say it's better than Avengers.
I would say
Oh,
it's
I
better
don't.
than Avengers. I think it falls number 2 on the list, right behind
Right
Exactly.
what is
behind
that?
Guardians.
Right
Yep.
behind Guardians.
All right, I'm okay with that. I don't know if personally I would put it. I think I like Avengers more personally, but this is a show effort, so I'll. I mean, I think I knew that we were gonna have a lot of A's. So I think that's kind of where we'll stay here for now.
Marvel doesn't miss.
Well, we don't have a lot of. My only surprise is that a Hulk is a little higher than I thought it was gonna end up at. I'll say that. Uh, so that's interesting. Everything else is kind of like where I thought it would be.
Ed Norton's so good in that. I mean, he's really a
And
great.
Yeah, it's
and
great performance.
it's really just one rung above what you thought it would be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay. Well, cool. There you go. There you have it. Let me save this. And I think maybe some of the more lower tier. It's been a mixed bag on the second half of the MCU cinematic universe, whatever.
I kind of want to make this a three-parter, and in the third part, we take all the future films and then we grade them on how we think they will be, and then revisit.
That gets tough because are they gonna make Blade? I mean, will it ever get done? You know,
I
like
feel like I've heard they also have like 3 slots that they haven't, like just unnamed slots that are out there that
they do
we
have
don't
a
know what they
dance.
are yet.
Yeah, they do have a dance slot over there.
A dance slot,
Yeah,
just hanging out. You never know what that guy's gonna do.
he's crazy. He's crazy. Oh, now he's gonna be watching. He loves googling his own name. Hey, dance slot. Leave us a comment. We
Oh,
we
like
do
never Google yourself.
we do enjoy your comics. I think for the most part.
Oh, hell yeah.
Come on the show. We'll talk more about dance slot. But yeah, let's get into it. Let me pull it up so we can get a little refresher of where we left off. We
Yeah.
got through 17 films. So currently, as it stands, here, let me see if I can.
What's our S tiers?
If I make this bigger, that won't. Oh, whoop, hold on, hold on.
Howard the Duck.
That's right. X-Men 3. It's been a very weird list.
The Trial of the Incredible Hulk.
If I forget, if we're gonna do the X-Men films, you need to drop that F tier back in there because X3 is F tier. And that is me being like angry old guy that we finally got all these X-Men movies, we got a superhero universe on film, and then going, you did this so poorly. Like this is just the opposite of everything that was fun about that book.
Is X3 the worst film, or is Dark Phoenix the worst film?
Dark Phoenix. Because now you had a second chance to make this film and you hired the same fucking writer and he fucked it up again.
Also, I think they make a joke about, like, in that second set, they make a joke about how bad the third movie is in a trilogy, and how they didn't nail the how they flubbed the first third movie, and then they go and do it themselves, and it's.
I mean, obviously they're going to probably revisit it a third time in the MCU because I mean we're revisiting the FF for the third time now.
Yeah.
And so hopefully they'll do it better because I mean
Yeah.
you're going to have the Phoenix Force versus what all the MCU shit we've seen. That's going to be cool.
Yeah. All right. Sorry, Jeff. Finish your thought. I was just messing with this layout.
Oh yeah, no, you're fine. I was just gonna say it does kind of sound, just from like the little rumors and quips that I've heard. It sounds like the mute they're calling they're calling it the mutant saga as the next phase or whatever. So it'll probably be a slow build instead of oh, here we are, Dark Phoenix in one movie. That's what I'm hoping for.
Maybe. All right. So currently, as things stand, and these are still kind of not in final order, at least for the S tier. We have Iron Man, we have Black Panther, and we have Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Now, for Captain America, I did use my snap to put that at the S tier, but I don't think anybody would have disagreed with me. So, and if you did, you can stop watching now.
I love anything
cookies.
that has Batroc the Leaper in it, and it's
Oh yeah,
and this makes him look so fucking cool by having a UFC fighter play him.
oh yeah. Then on the A tier, we have the first Guardians of the Galaxy, Captain America: Civil War, the Avengers, Captain America: The First Avenger. We have Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man, and Black Widow. So a lot of their first movies are on this tier. Yeah, a lot of those are the first original movies for the team, except for the Civil War and Avengers one, of course. On the B tier, we have Age of Ultron. I think we all kind of talked it up to B level at the
Yeah.
top. Iron Man 3, which to me feels a little high, but whatever. We all
Yeah, they announced this week that Ultron is returning.
They did.
They did.
Yes, James Spader is going to be coming back as Ultron for the Marvel Vision show.
My Vision Quest. We also have Thor, the original one, and the Incredible Hulk. And then on the C tier, we have, we have C tier, we have Iron Man 3, and then on the D tier, we have Thor: The Dark World. So yeah, you guys still feel good about all those?
Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2's on the C tier.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say Iron Man 3 is better than Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 3 is on the B tier. I think it's. I guess if I had to rank them, yeah, they're both so far away from the first one. It's insane. All right, so let's get started. Let's keep going. Let's keep it going. If you're in the chat, make sure to leave us a comment if you have an opinion. We'll at least take it in consideration.
Tell us where we're wrong.
That's right.
Tell us your favorite Superman actor.
That's weird. All right, I guess. There's only one good answer for
that. Listen, I love adding a little chaos to the show every week.
You're gonna get dropped, Jeff. All right, so we kick things off today with Spider-Man: Homecoming. The first of the Spider-Man.
A
Now,
tier.
this is tough because Daniel, also forget to mention that only one
Oh, that's
movie
right.
per trilogy can make it to
Or
S
per
tier
per franchise, I guess. So like,
per
because Thor has
franchise.
four, and or for each of
Yeah,
those
yeah.
individual characters. Now, I will say, I like the Spider-Man movies. I don't. They're not my favorites yet because I don't think we've gotten a Spider-Man movie. We've just gotten movies with Spider-Man in them.
So you're,
Um,
the Marvel Spider-Mans are not your favorite of the
yeah,
Spider-Man
yeah, yeah. It
movies.
doesn't
Okay.
feel like the first one was really a lot about. It was more like a Tony N Spider-Man film. Um,
Yeah, but we didn't get it. It was laying the foundation without being an origin film.
Yeah.
kind of.
Because we
Uh,
all assumed he becomes Spider-Man because of Uncle Ben. We get a lot of story as the trilogy goes along that's kind of interesting in what we assumed about Peter Parker.
It's like a real early. It's like a continuing story of the adventures of Spider-Man,
Yeah,
but like we're at issue number 8.
yeah,
We're
yeah.
coming
Or
into
like
issue
when
8.
they go back and do like, you're in the future or whatever. Spider-Man's got kids and all that, but for some reason Marvel wants to put out a book of his early days still. Like bring back an old team.
yeah.
Um, and
Because it's not
I
the first time he pops up in the Marvel universe.
right,
Obviously,
that was in Civil War. So it's not even a first appearance comic. You wouldn't send that to get graded. I like the films, but this is definitely not my favorite of the three. Actually, yeah, the first two I think are just they're okay. They're good movies.
I like the first one
wow.
more than the second one. So I think it's definitely A tier.
All right. Oops.
Uh,
Jeff.
I say A tier as well
Okay. Well, I was gonna say B
because I
tier,
really
but
do. I like it. I really like it a lot. It
Yeah, I
is.
like it a lot
okay,
too.
fair enough. Fair enough. All right.
I was gonna say I
Shang
think
Chi.
yeah,
Michael
I've got the
Keaton.
poster right here.
Michael Keaton's Vulture is awesome. That scene
Yeah,
where they're in the car
I think
together
that
and like,
reveal was great. Yeah, I
yeah,
can't wait. I
I
can't
mean,
wait for
and the
Peter.
fight scene at the end. I mean, there's a lot of great moments in that I think you're overlooking.
they kind of redo the Ditko like Spider-Man under a ton of rubble kind of thing, and
Yeah,
he
yeah,
gets
Yeah,
out of it.
yeah. All right. We got Shang Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Uh,
another origin story,
I
really
think this one
good.
to me is immediately A tier for sure. At least
Yep.
I really like this film.
Are we going to
It's
rank Spider-Man and Shang-Chi between the A's of where we think that they're
oh we can yeah you're right
okay?
yeah so I put it here because I was gonna rank it a B, so I was like, all right, well, let's put it towards the latter end.
But
Um,
I think I like that Spider-Man better than better than the Black Widow and Ant-Man
Yeah,
and Captain
definitely. I would
Marvel.
say better than Captain America.
oh,
I'm putting it that high. I would say it's
I
almost an Avengers film.
I would put it at most probably closer to Captain Marvel. Jeff, what about
I
you?
would
Where
put
would
it
you
I would put it between yeah, right at Doctor Strange level. Like
all right, so
it's
we'll
yeah, between
compromise.
Doctor Strange and yeah.
We'll compromise. Put it here because Clay wanted to put it here, and I wanted to put it here. So
I mean, just for the reasons Jeff gave. I mean, there are great moments that are brought on film. The reveal's great. Toombs is a great villain. We get to see the Prowler, the Thinker. We get to see that moment that Ditko did on page on film as Peter tries to like find the strength to do all this. It's just fun, and I love the aspect of Ned because now we have a
Yeah.
guy who's the guy in the chair and he's hilarious and delivers every time he's on the screen. And it's a
And we
different
get
it's, it's a different Spider-Man, really.
yeah,
we get the great line, "Hey Spider-Man, do a flip."
we get that great product placement of the Lego Star Wars. Death
Yeah.
Star. All right, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
A
I think
tier.
that's going to be in the A tier for sure. So let's talk about where we want to put it. I would put it after the Avengers.
Wow. Wow.
I really like that.
I would put it
It felt like it was a very refreshing new thing. Like after 10 plus years of MCU, like, hey, we can still do cool new things. So that's the main reason. Plus
Yeah, I
Michelle
mean, it
Yeoh's in
showed
it.
us a cool new world.
Yeah.
We've got this hidden place that's almost like Kunlun.
Yeah.
It's one of the 7 cities, hopefully, and
It pays off on that twist from Iron Man 3 in great fashion. I think any
yeah,
movie with Ben Kingsley, like, you know. So yeah. But what about you guys? So I would put it around here, but
I wouldn't
you
put
guys
it
let me
that
know.
high. I would put it between. I would put it right under Spider-Man.
All right, Jeff, what about you? And then we'll kind of
See,
take the
I
average.
was going, yeah, I was going to go in between. What is that? Captain America and Doctor Strange. So one full rung lower than where you are, and
All
two
right, so
above
we'll
Clay.
once
So
again, this is all about compromise, so we'll put it in between because I wanted to hear, Clay wanted to hear, so
Yeah,
yeah,
fair enough, fair enough. Uh, this
we're all
one,
kind of right on the same level.
yeah, I think so. These are all very close too. I think. All right, Marvel's The Eternals, which
This is rough.
I think it's a fantastic film. I think where it gets a lot of kind of people don't enjoy it, that it doesn't really do anything to address. It was in that place in time where the Marvel Cinematic Universe had a lot of momentum, so like people just wanted to kind of keep the bigger story going, and
yeah.
instead we got like this story that was just about these beings, right? Um, so like it never
I
moved
think
anything
this is
forward.
also kind of the weird problem with the Marvel method of making movies, kind of like the Marvel method of making comics, is that because they have a certain style that like the main overarching story is kind of told in when they do these kind of outlier movies with these outlier directors, like
Yeah,
they really stand out, but they're just like not commercially like
yeah,
successful, and they're also just a little weird, and they're not everybody's like favorites, but they have their own little tone to them. So like everybody complains about how Marvel's always the same, but when Marvel offers different, like people don't show up for it. So
right.
Yeah,
It is
exactly.
kind of it's weird to say it, but it's kind of like the indie Marvel film,
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
which is yeah,
I guess my problem with it is like they had this incredible Kirby art that they got rid of in like the spaceship and stuff in this film. I think the costume designs are pretty cool. I think the I think the story really works, but the way it's told seems to just almost stretch it out too long. You get kind of like you forget how many characters in it and how, and then they have to fight amongst themselves, and it gets kind of convoluted for a while, but
I,
it does have great moments.
I just see it like a family drama type of movie, but they'll just happen to have all these superpowers. So I wouldn't put it at an A tier. I would probably put it at a B, but definitely higher than some of these films, including probably at the lowest. I would want to have it right below Age of Ultron.
Yeah, me too.
I don't think
Yeah,
the other two are better than it. Jeff,
I
what about
mean,
you?
you'd have to argue the best points of the film at this point.
Yeah, and there's just such a
Yeah,
fantastic
yeah.
cast. Like just the way it all kind of came together. It must have been super difficult to make that film. But all right, are we good there? B1, B2. All right.
I'm good with it. I'm sad they're not. Yeah, I'm a little bummed that they're not gonna. There's no plans for Eternals 2
Yeah.
because
Or
I
the
want to
Black
see
Knight.
Barry, but I want to see Barry Keegan back in that bathtub, like an Eternals bathtub.
It's all right.
Yeah, see, I feel like Barry was kind of wasted in the Eternals.
He's gonna
We
be
didn't
off
know
doing
what was
Joker.
coming. We had no idea what was coming from that man.
That's right. Yeah, I know. It's actually the same character in Saltburn. All right.
So
We
we did.
have
It's called Saltburn.
Ant-Man and the Wasp. Uh
This is a tough one because it has good stuff and it fails to deliver on, like, Walter Goggins is great, but I feel like
yeah,
they could have done more.
yeah.
Um,
I'm kind of
Ghost.
happy with right where it is. It could be even high. Like I don't ever watch it. Like it's not one that I will ever consider going back to watch.
See, I
Honestly,
watch it. I think it's way better than Thor: Dark World. It's better than Iron Man 2. I mean, I would put it at the top of the B list because I
At the
rewatch it
top
and
of the
find
B list?
a top of the
Wow.
B list.
You think it's better than Age of Ultron? Age of Ultron has
Yes.
so much rewatchability. No,
We get to see really cool shit. You guys are like taking for granted all the stuff we have here. Like we get to see him go giant. We get to see a cool villain in Ghost where we almost understand her purpose.
is Ghost a cool villain though?
Ghost is a cool villain because she's just trying to live.
I'm
That's
gonna have to
all she's doing.
disagree. I feel like
She's
Ghost
just
is
trying to live.
I feel like
I
Ghost is
would-
the MacGuffin of the movie, and I hate to say that, but it feels like she's just the MacGuffin of the character. Like there's no depth to. I don't know who Ghost is. Hopefully they'll let us know in the Thunderbolts, but I don't know who.
Go back and rewatch it. I think you'll have a lot of fun. I love the scenes where he's giant, but he's like riding in the back of a truck, pushing it like it's a little toy. I mean, they play really good with the visuals in this for really good comedy and really good action.
Clay's not talked me up to the top of B list, but he has talked me to right below Iron Man 2.
Iron Man 3.
Iron Man 3, right? Iron Man 3. Because
I would even be okay with
there's the
putting
fun.
it
There is the fun stuff with the building being big and small, and which I was just like, what? How do you do the plumbing? And then there's the where he gets stuck in the like little kid size.
We get Janet Van Dyne in this.
I feel like
Which also get
he's also kind of just there till the end, till closer to the. I don't know. I feel like there was a lot of cool concepts for sure, but a lot of these movies have a lot of cool concepts. Just like how was they executed? But I would be okay with putting it where I just left it to kind of compromise.
I give it a few points for Lawrence Fishburne.
I see that's the thing. I feel like he's also kind of wasted. They just have a dick measuring contest at his desk and that's it. It feels like it promised a lot.
But
wait till we talk about Quantumania about promising a lot and not delivering. So,
yeah, that's a different.
I think that's the other thing that saves this movie. I know it's coming.
We do set up Goliath that we do get in a what if later. So I mean,
you have to.
We do get that Goliath. I love Ant-Man a lot more than people give it credit because it Paul Rudd kind of carries those movies.
We had this argument with Thor: The Dark World. Like I think Endgame does a lot for that movie, but we have to look at these as standalone, right? Just because something cool happened later doesn't mean that it makes the other movie cool.
Yeah, but if you're asking for stuff, you may not get it in this film, but you're going to get it. You can't deliver on every single thing in here. And even at that, like it's weird to watch how little they use Evangeline Lilly as Wasp in this film. It's weird to call it that. And then she's just like kind of a corporate head who's, doing the right thing.
Yeah. I just think the villain really was very underwhelming compared to Darren Cross, who he was like a mustache twirling villain in the first one.
MODOK in the third.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he was one of the redeeming things. I think we're good there. I think feels like we're.
I can't believe y'all watch Eternals over Ant-Man and the Wasp.
It's just beautiful. Those visuals. The way that what's her? There's too many Eternals. What's the fast Eternal?
Oh, God.
There's so many. Anyways,
no, she's from The Walking Dead.
Yeah, it looks great. All right, while Clay looks that up, let's go to the next film. Speaking of sequels, Spider-Man: Far From Home, Spider-Man's European Vacation, as it's known in other circles. Spider-Man and Bubble Boy.
Makari.
Makari, yes.
I ordered something from them once.
Yeah. I used to sell stuff on Makari. All right. Spider-Man: Far From Home. Who wants to kick us off with the Night Monkey?
This one is okay.
The first question: do you guys like this better or worse than the first Spider-Man?
I like the first one better.
First one's better.
All right, so it can't go past here at the most. We've decided that as a group. I think it could be in B tier, but
it's low B tier. I actually like it where it is right now because I would maybe put it above Thor: Dark World. And now I feel bad that I see. I feel Thor: Dark
Wait,
World
so
is like
this
a
is
far end of
Thor.
the
This
B.
is this is first Thor. This is Dark World. Just
Oh,
as
that's
a
Dark World.
reminder.
Oh, okay, I was
Yeah,
looking for
Dark World's
the.
at the D. I don't think anything's getting lower. Well, maybe Quantumania. We'll see.
Ooh.
I don't. I don't. This is the Dark World is the bottom of the barrel right now. So, uh,
Yeah, so
Um,
Thor: Dark World, then Iron Man 2, and then Hulk are the bottom three right now currently.
yes, yes. So, you guys like it here? Do you like it better than Incredible Hulk or the first Thor movie? I think it's probably
it's
should be
better than the
above both
first
of these.
Thor. Yeah,
Yeah, I think it should be at least above those two.
yeah.
I
Maybe
was
even
in
above.
between. I put it in between Thor and Hulk. So,
I'm
but you
trying to.
two,
What are the payoff moments in this film for y'all?
uh, for me, like, but just as fan service, J. Jonah Jameson, like popping
Yeah,
back up at the end of the movie.
that's pretty funny.
Um, I do like that they put Peter and MJ together because it's Zendaya and Tom. You know, they're cute. Um,
I think Mysterio was actually really great. Like even though we knew the reveal was coming that he was a bad guy, like
Yeah,
it played out so well that I wasn't mad. We get that kid from A Christmas Story to come back. Uh,
Peter Billingsley.
yeah. Um,
Well, he was
yeah.
a
No,
producer on the first Iron Man, and he plays the scientist that
he does
is
with a
that
box of
Obadiah
crabs.
stay shits on. Tells him you're no Tony Stark.
I think I like it where it is. I mean, I might put it above Iron Man 3 or even Ant-Man and the Wasp, but I'm not gonna fight about it. If
Yeah.
yeah, it's
so,
fine where it
it,
is.
it, it's an interesting choice to, to watch that entire film and see that Maria Hill and Nick Fury were played by Skrulls, but still had the payoff that they were very much like Fury and Hill.
mm-hmm.
Like after you go back and watch it a second time, you kind of buy that they're them, but then I'm
Yeah.
curious, like how did they get to become that way? Because I
Then
feel like,
can't ask too many questions.
yeah, yeah, I know, it's a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah. So, all right, let's go. Let me actually skip to this one since we're doing sequels. Let's do Guardians 2, Daddy's Home. Um,
You need to put that up in A tier. So let's go and just figure out where it's going in A tier.
right, all right. So I guess I don't think it's better than the first one.
Correct.
Jeff, you agree with that statement? Do you like it
Oh
more?
yeah, 100%. No, I don't. I
Okay,
don't like
all
more than
right.
the first one.
I'll tell you this. I don't know if I feel comfortable putting above like above any of these three. I don't think that I would, but I'll let you guys figure it out. Where
I
do we
would
want to
put it
put?
above Captain America.
Okay, pretty high. I mean, it's really good.
It's good for me. I'd put it above.
We get
I'd
Kurt
put it.
Russell. We get. I love the relationship between Nebula and
Gamora.
Gamora. I mean, that's set up more in this.
Yeah, I think
See, I would.
Yondu.
I would put it
Yondu's
between
great.
Shang Chi and Doctor Strange.
All right, and then let's split the difference and let's put it. You wanted to hear Clay, and then you want to hear. So let's put it here above Shang Chi between. Yeah,
Yeah,
between Captain America, First Avenger, and Shang Chi. I think that works. I think that looks good. It's also interesting to see all the posters together, like
Yeah.
how much they've changed since. So okay, cool. Let's go look at maybe the best Thor. Maybe I don't know the Ragnarok. I think this is my favorite Thor for sure,
yeah.
including Love and Thunder,
I
which
think
I
it's
still really
A tier.
enjoy. Definitely at least A tier.
What's the top A tier?
The top 8 tier is first Guardians.
Guardians.
So we have Guardians, Civil War, Avengers, Captain America, and then Guardians 2.
I mean, I could be talked into. I think it goes. For me, it goes between Guardians and Civil War.
See, I would put it between Avengers and Captain America. So, Clay, I guess, do you want it higher,
Yeah, I could.
lower?
I mean, I could do that too.
I
It
would
just
say just under Guardians too.
Just in the Guardians 2. Okay, so we're good. We are gonna split the difference then,
Yeah,
because Clay wants it here and you want it here. So we'll, I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Then we'll put it right after Avengers. Yeah, I just really love. Like I said, once again, I knew that we knew the World War Hulk stuff was coming, and that was a lot of fun. Any movie with Jeff Goldblum, like, immediately gets a bonus, especially because he's so great. Like, you really believe that he's into everything that he's doing. All like
yeah,
from the first time you see him, all the way to that end credit scene, which was a really fun tease in Guardians 2. We had his character was in the credits dancing, right? So, like, because this was the next film, like, it was neat when they did stuff like that, where, like, we're gonna give you a little something for the next movie, like, the immediate next movie, not give you an end credit scene that may pay off in 5 years, right?
yeah.
Yeah, and I love, of course, Hela is a fantastic character.
Hell is
uh,
probably the biggest selling point in this.
yeah,
She is a great villain.
we have, I love the sequence of Loki pretending to be Anthony Hopkins. So Anthony Hopkins acting as Loki as himself. Uh, like, it's
He's the
great. Like,
dude playing the dude.
I wonder how they explain that to him. To, like, and then, of course, the actors putting on the play that are, like, another Hemsworth and Matt Damon,
Matt
and, like,
Damon in the MCU it
yeah,
always
Do you
and
think
pays
then
off.
yeah.
Do you think it's harder to explain a Thor plot to Anthony Hopkins or the Transformers plot than that Transformers movie that he was in?
Well, I think the Transformers plot, because he had Cogsworth to run around with, it was more like, all right, now you're gonna go run here, and he was running along with some dude dressed in, like, the blue suit or the green suit or whatever, with, like, probably a picture of Cogsworth in his
Yeah,
head or something.
just
Or
taped to his
oh
head.
god, if they made Sir Anthony Hopkins, if they made him chase a tennis ball, I'm gonna be very upset.
Does it? I
Just a
wonder.
tennis
We
ball
should.
on a
I need
stick.
to look for that. This is the only time I will try to find this movie on. I'm gonna go look for this movie on DVD to see if there's special features.
I have the quintology in the Blu-ray.
Oh, see if there, you got to see if there's special
I'd
features
see
on
if
that
there's
bad
special
boy.
features. God, if they made
Some behind the scenes.
if they made Anthony Hopkins act against the tennis ball, I'm gonna be very upset. All right.
You can't be. That guy has always talked about how bullshit acting is. He retired in the 90s after Zorro and then just came back and took the money for shit he just didn't care about.
Take the money, baby. Take the money and run.
Hey,
All right.
you're Sir Anthony Hopkins. Do what you want.
Next, we have what I could argue maybe an S tier if I really tried, but Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
I would say that is S tier.
Sam Raimi. We
I
have
feel like this is the first horror film of the MCU.
yeah. Yeah, I would still love in an alternate universe. We still got Scott Derrickson to direct this and really go full in on the horror.
Yeah.
Which he's another one of my favorite horror directors. But I love Sam Raimi. I love the little Sam Raimi isms of, like, his choices, the wipes, the transitions. That sequence where Wanda attacks the temple,
Yeah.
like, from the beginning.
I mean,
yeah,
Sam Raimi's a great horror director.
Yeah.
What's Drag Me to Hell is, like, fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could be talked into bottom of the S tier pretty easily on this one.
And I know a lot of people don't like the whole Wanda Maximoff character assassination. I get it, but you can rehab the character. You do it in wrestling all the time. So all right, cool. It feels like we're pretty on sync with this one.
Yeah.
I don't. Yeah, I also don't like. I do have a small issue, but I think that's with the Wanda assassination. But I think that's more like my issue with behind the scenes stuff, and that they don't.
Yeah.
The teams don't communicate where their stories are going with one
Oh
another.
yeah. Especially after WandaVision and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of the multiverse, maybe another S tier. I don't know.
I think it's an S tier. I think you need to put it right below.
And we'll figure out the S tier rankings if you want at the
Yeah.
end, so we don't, like, spend too much time thinking about it. But Jeff, what about? Oh, sorry, it's Spider-Man. No Way Home. No, yeah, is that what it's called? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Spider-Man No Way
Yeah,
Home.
that's S tier for me.
Okay,
Definitely.
cool, good. Easy money, easy
I
money. We'll figure out
I
the
think
rankings. Yeah.
this is the Empire Strikes Back of the MCU.
Oh, that really
Everything
old
goes
movie.
bad at the end, and we're just and as Dante say, it's just like life, a series of downers.
Yeah,
Ned,
but we
Ned
get.
ends up in carbonite.
Yeah, I mean,
And now
pretty
we've
much.
got like the Parker luck. He's screwed everything up. He's met other Spider-Men who obviously have some problems, and it's great to see them kind of work together and collaborate and even like pick each other's spirits up. You know, he's like, no, man, you're amazing when they're talking about Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. Like, there's so much to love about this movie, and it has incredible moments, but I love the fact that it ends on such a downer that
Yeah,
Peter is alone. And this is different from any time we've seen him because he's always had Ned and then MJ, and now he has no guy in the chair. And so what's it going to be like?
And he's also just got just a regular old Spider-Man costume, which looks beautiful. But it's
Yeah.
not like the Tony Stark costume or whatever. It's just him. Like,
I'm excited for where they take him into the next thing. Like, I really hope that they do something on the level of Tombs and they take a villain like Scorpion and make him legit real world badass.
yeah.
And maybe we see a Sinister Six.
Morbius.
Morbius. I don't care. Throw everything at this Tom Holland character who's alone because he's just gonna suffer and have flashbacks of Aunt May dying.
I can't wait for the scene where he has to go like get a fake ID in some alley or whatever. All right, cool. Yeah, it's a great film. We get all the
And he's
Spideys
like Peter
back.
Parker, and people are like, that sounds like a fake name.
It does such a good job of like the balancing out of the fan service and like actual story that
Yeah.
kind of makes sense. So
I mean,
yeah,
Jesus, that Green Goblin fight is maybe the best fight in all of Spider-Man. Except maybe Doc Ock. Maybe Doc Ock at
Doc
the end
Ock
of
was really
Spider-Man
good.
2. That's really
I mean,
good.
the end of Spider-Man 1 fight was pretty good too. It was brief, but it was really good too. So I don't know. We should do this. We'll probably do this for Marvel movies that are not in the MCU. I think that'd be fun too. Okay. All right. We are at the point of oh boy.
No return. Oh.
Yeah. Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantum Mania.
Okay. Just to defend Ant-Man, it is neat to see Cassie kind of following in her dad's footsteps. She has a suit just like he does, and it's the whole family together. We get more character development on Janet Van Dyne, who I still will kind of always think of as a founding member of the Avengers. I think she's really fun in this. We get a cool world. I don't think the Bill Murray cameo is worth it.
Or
It's
the
kind
other
of
one. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of like out of place, kind of weird. I feel like anybody else could have played someone who pivoted from a revolutionary to a president.
It feels like it just was there to set up a long joke that maybe wasn't even that funny later on, right? Like, oh, they did it in the quantum realm. Ha ha ha.
But they give you really cool visuals. I mean, it is a green screen movie, and that's kind of the shitty part of it. But we
Yeah.
do get to see the people that live there and the cool looks, and that they are fighting this revolution. You do get caught up in that story when they start to die, but you see the cool things like buildings that are alive and that can fly. And I think a lot of the production work into that world is the best thing about that movie.
I think, to be fair to the other Ant-Man movies, I kind of want to put it maybe at the top of the seas, because there's a big difference between each one of those. There's, like I said, there's a lot of cool stuff, but cool stuff is not a good movie.
Yeah, I see. I'm gonna want to rate this higher, and as high as I could rate it is just below. Is it? That Iron Man 2 in
Iron
the
Man
B?
3?
Iron Man 3.
Yeah, Iron Man 3.
Yeah,
Iron Man 3.
yeah. So I would rate it just below that.
So
I still think it's a fun, great movie.
You like it more than Far From Home?
Yes.
After you made me put Far From Home this high up?
I would not put it that high up. I don't think that there's any. I don't think there's anything to this movie. I'm trying. I've been listening to Clay, but I've also been trying to, because it's also one of those movies, kind of like the Incredible Hulk, that has so much going on behind the, like,
Yeah,
afterward or
yeah,
whatever, that you have to kind of separate what you know about the movie from what is actually the movie.
yeah,
And the movie itself, like, none of the characters have any really kind of story arc or anything. It's just a simple adventure. Like, they get sucked into the quantum realm because Cassie was pinging something, and then we find out a little bit about Janet's history, but nothing really changes between any of the
yeah.
characters.
I will say the
Um,
biggest plot hole is Janet saying, well, I can't explain right now. Like, I hate that in movies where it's like, you can't explain why we have to go to the quantum realm. You can't explain why this guy's going to kill us. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and it should have been this should have been a heist movie, and instead they give us a Fantastic Four plot with not the Fantastic Four.
yeah,
Um,
exactly. And it
yeah,
is, the green screen stuff does kind of bug me a little. I mean, it's great looking, but I'm just like, I don't know,
I think
make it
Modoc
a
is
video.
fine.
MODOK
Modoc
is
is fun,
great.
but I
Yeah, like that
also I'm
whole
like,
the way they wrote that, I thought that was good. Like it makes sense throughout the whole trilogy, right? It wouldn't make
Yeah.
mhm.
sense in the comics, but like in this universe, it does. Um,
See, I'd move it down to the top of the
I think the
C
top of the
level.
seas. See, right? You see above Iron Man 3. I think we might have overrode Clay's love for this movie on this one.
He could snap it to where he wants it.
I hope not.
Ouch.
I hope that's not where he wants to use the snap. I mean, there's not that many movies left, but there's some snappy
Yeah,
ones
let me
coming
see
up.
what's left.
He could
We have Love and Thunder, The Marvels, Guardians 3, Wakanda Forever, Endgame, Infinity War, and Deadpool Wolverine.
this is your chance, Clay. Make it S tier.
This is your
Oh
pivotal. Oh
shit! I
god.
would never make Quantum Mania S tier. Um,
I like it at the C's to give us a little bit of credibility that we're actually being a little like
I
harsh on these films.
I don't know. There's things. I mean, I love MODOK. I love the look of that film. I love. There's like a lot of cool things. It's kind of a family film as they're all like put together.
They didn't even have the best thing in the Ant-Man films, which was Louise.
True. Yeah.
That's like ripping the heart
But
of the universe.
to see Hank at the end just justified into talking to these ants forever, and that's how they kill Kang. I kind of love that moment where he's just walking up and ants are just flying around him.
Yeah.
There are tons of problems, but even when Paul Rudd like is attacking Kang at the end, he's like, you don't have to, or they talk about losing, and he's like, this is how you lose. And he goes, no, we're both gonna lose. That whole speech.
Well, that was great, and I loved it up until that didn't happen, and he got saved. If that would have, even if they didn't, obviously I don't think they would have permanently killed that man. But if they would have left us in that movie there with that moment where like he does have to make a sacrifice, we're like, all right, better movie. All right, just it makes sense, right? He's looking for redemption. He got his family together, but now he doesn't get to see them, and that's kind of the price he has to pay. But then they undo all that stuff. So yeah, this movie sets up a lot of really cool things, and then just kind of undoes them very quickly. Like you just said, Janet doesn't want to talk about the quantum realm. Well, we knew Kang's the reason. Like why are you
Yeah.
hiding it? You're not hiding it from the audience. You're just hiding it from the other characters, which feels against her character after she's kind of been really open about everything else after she got rescued. So,
and
I
now
don't
we'll
know.
never know the answer.
You're justified. I mean, I think
All right.
Top of the Sea makes sense with a lot
All
of
right.
the bad writing in that film.
Cool. All right. Love and Thunder.
Great villain.
Yeah, I really enjoyed. I thought as little Christian Bale that we got, I thought it was very well done.
God, I wish he was. I hope he's resurrected in like Secret Wars or something, just so that he's not as wasted.
I think Christian Bale's done with the MCU.
Fuck, man, that was such a great villain to throw away in this movie. Like, we don't even get to see him really kill gods.
It'd be easier to get Christian Bale to put on a Batman suit again than I think that to be that guy again, to be Gore again.
But if we said, like, you'll play the guy on paper, not the guy that was in this last film, we're gonna have you just kill more gods.
I wonder how many of these people read the comic, because Gore, there's not a lot of stuff, right? He could have just gone through the God Butcher.
I mean, he could have read it briefly and just said, "Oh, we're condensing all this down." And he is still kind of a great villain in every performance. Like when he's telling the story to those kids, and he's just a creepy motherfucker. I mean, that's awesome.
I do want to say I like this movie. I like Love and Thunder, but Jeff, where are you at? Where are you at on this one? We'll start with you, and then we'll level up from there.
I think it's a fun movie. I do think it got away from him. So there's a little too much fun that was being had on the set. I think everybody has kind of like S tier.
Wow.
I was gonna put it right above, right below.
Never
Spider-Man
changed
Far From Home.
Yeah,
above Far From Home.
Yeah, no, right below. Around Spider-Man. Below Far From Home. Yeah, because it's kind of a hot mess. But I mean, there's a lot of little cute moments. But again, not.
I do like the payoff. Like,
did he freeze?
I think it does.
Oh, sorry, Jeff. You froze for a second. Can you repeat that?
I said, I think it's just a little all over the map.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all right.
I'm okay with it there. I'm not gonna fight anybody in this. This is not the movie for me to die on a hill. I really like the movie though. Like it's just man. Then they kind of didn't give us enough of the Guardians. I feel.
Mm-hmm.
One sec. Okay, here we go. All right. Are we good there? Is it good there? You guys like it there? I'm fine with it there.
I picked the place, so yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. The Marvels.
I think I'm going to catch shit for this, but I'm going to say A.
Oh,
yeah, I like this movie.
Great. We are in the. We are all at least in the same tier.
Yeah, I was going to say A tier. Where in the A tier?
Eventually, people will come around on Love and Thunder and realize it's a masterpiece. It's got a great soundtrack. I grew up listening to Guns N' Roses, and I do love their music.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Back to the Marvels. Where in the A tier? I guess the first question we can ask is it better than the original Captain Marvel? To which I would say yes.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit better than the original. I think it's more fun.
I love the original a lot. I would say it's just under it.
I think Kamala Khan's character just adds so much to that film.
I do think there's now if you're just like you should not be watching MCU movies just cold by this point. So it's a bit difficult to judge it as a movie just by itself, because if you've not been watching Miss Marvel or whatever, like,
or WandaVision,
you probably don't get as much out of it going into it if you haven't seen all that stuff.
It's still pretty much contained though. Like they really do a pretty good job of like very quickly catching you up on, like, obviously you don't get the whole, you don't go in loving Captain Marvel, you don't go in loving Miss Marvel right from the show,
right?
But he plays the character so well that you immediately like, oh, I get this. Like, she's the fangirl. She's kind of like, so
yeah.
They give you all the little things.
I would just say that your viewing experience is far more rich.
For sure. Yeah, but you very quickly get like Monica's the more serious one, and Captain Marvel's the one that's got trouble. Like, she's got baggage, right? So like,
But see, like, I feel like that on the top level, it's all fun. Like them changing places, trying to figure out their powers together and stuff is fun. But on another level, it's also Captain Marvel coming to terms with expectations that these other people feel about her. One from a child that has now become an adult and she still sees as a child, and one who's a child who hero worships her. So it's interesting how she handles that dynamic, because she is kind of a born leader, but now having, seen her kind of lead this group, I think she kind of questions herself a little bit because of these expectations that people put on her. And I'd like to see
Also,
her become the leader of the Avengers and deal with that.
I think also the fact that she has to come to grips with like maybe the way she's been saving the universe hasn't really been saving the universe, right? Like all those people
Right.
were so
The strengths of
I
this
don't know.
movie definitely lie on the side of the Marvels, like Captain
Yeah.
and Miss and what
Well, I think the family
Well,
is also really fun. Like if you just met the Kamal's family, like
yeah, the
there
family's great. Nick
there's
Fury
not
with the
there's not
family's
a
great.
I think the sequences are a little bit unglued from each other, but there's not a bad sequence in the movie. It's kind of hard transitioning from one place to the other because I feel like there does feel like there's some stuff that was kind of cut out to make sure that it all fits.
Yeah.
But like if you look at each sequence on its own, like they're all pretty strong, right? You get the family being attacked by the what are they called? What are the aliens called? The Kree,
uh,
the
Just
Kree.
the Kree. The
Yeah.
Kree.
Even all the way to the last sequence when they had to get where they had to get all the cats to eat everyone. Like there's just it's just one going from one fun thing to the other. It's just
yeah.
kind of disjointed the way we get there, which kind of makes
The
sense by the way they were switching places, tonally.
Yeah,
So
that too. Yeah. The
so
villain's pretty weak.
yeah,
But I
I
think the
agree.
villain is just kind of also the plot is the same plot as Spaceballs, where they're just trying to steal all the air
That's
from the
funny.
I was watching Spaceballs not too long ago, and I was like, "This is the Marvels." Um,
I feel like she's a stronger villain. They're just not told very well because she's a victim of Captain Marvel's teardown of her society, a
Maybe
society
she's not a
that's based
villain.
on AI, and she goes and tears it down. So then you have people who are like looking for guidance that has none. So really, she kind
I
of
think the
inflicted
potential
this.
was there. Yeah,
Yeah, it just
definitely.
wasn't
But
told very well. It was just like she was just another Kree. She was angry, just like Ronan.
yeah,
I mean,
I
she
want to
didn't
say
bathe
here.
in their blood like he did.
Maybe we didn't see that, but she could have done it. I want to say here. I think I like it better than the first film. Just because we get all the cool Carol Danvers stuff plus more. That's kind of the way I'm
yeah.
seeing it. It's like this is a plus more movie. Um, yeah, and then we still get a little bit of Nick Fury, which was very jarring after seeing Secret Invasion. How different of a character he was. I
So
was like, no,
bad.
no, this is the Nick Fury I like. So
I
Yeah.
that's the one example of something that I just feel like is F tier. And I started this off going, there's no F tier. We're getting great comic book stuff, but man, Secret Invasion is just so bad and
yeah,
filmed so bad and
we'll
written
have to do
so bad.
a TV show one too. So,
Yeah.
but are we good here? Do you guys like it here?
Oh yeah.
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 Okay, cool. All right. I feel like this might be a quick one. Guardians 3. Is this the snap?
S tier.
There you go. There we go. Nice and easy.
Enough said. It is an S tier. Everything from the first two movies pays off in this one. We have
Yeah.
the mother issues in the first film, father issues in this one, and then the family as friends. I love this movie.
Yeah.
This is maybe I. This is probably the top, the third best MCU film for me.
Yeah. No. Great. I like it. I love it too. So, all right.
Where does it rank
Uh,
up there, though? Are we gonna?
we'll figure it out at the end. We'll figure out the
Okay.
rankings of the S tiers. Let's talk about Wakanda Forever, which I think it's great. It's a
It,
fantastic film. Now we do have the first one already on S tier,
yeah,
so the highest we can get it is on the A's.
it's just so there's just so much loss in that film.
It's definitely very emotional and sad.
But then
Uh,
they have to take the queen too, and you're just left with Suri having to bury her mom after she's lost her brother, and then the real world implications of the actor not being there, and
yeah,
just everything's so sad. Even the ending is sad, even though it's like kind of joyful and hopeful for a future. There's just sadness tied into his child showing up like this.
yeah,
You also get to see Namor fly with his little ankle wings. So that, for me, in
Namor's
itself,
huge, great. hero villain, you know,
Yeah.
and hopefully we see this guy not screw up the way Kang did, and he comes back, and him and the Fantastic Four, like, I'm ready for that duel.
Yeah, that'll
Yeah.
be interesting. So I think
I mean, because we know, I guess Vanessa Kirby is definitely has a type, and so that fits with Namor and with Reed.
That's funny.
right, movie director.
Uh, I would put it right under Ragnarok.
I like that. That's a
Between
good thing. That's a good spot. Clay.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a tough rewatch.
It's definitely not something you go into like, oh, I am having a great day. Let me go watch Wakanda Forever.
Yeah,
But it's very good. I think it's very good. I love how much Lupita Nyong'o we get to. Like we get to see she was hinted at being very like stealthy and like being very capable, and that was good to see. We get to see Riri Williams, even if she gets stripped of the armor at the end of the movie.
yeah, but that only
Uh,
means a new suit. I kind of love when
yeah,
that happens because it just means like she's going to build something better.
yeah, like we can't give you this cool armor, but she's already had enough time to use it and probably figure it out anyway. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
this
and
is
then
definitely a film building for the future, but it's
yeah,
also having to deal with loss.
and the exploration of telecon is that what it was called? I
Yeah,
forget what the new name was, but yeah, just all the underwater stuff was really cool. Like
yeah.
very different from Aquaman, which I also really like, but it still looked great.
yeah, because in the same way that we were introduced to Wakanda, now we get to be introduced to this other foreign land that Wakanda didn't even know about. So it's like this double secret city that they do a great way of introducing, and
Yeah.
it's just very cool.
Okay. Now the last three films I saved were probably gonna be pretty high up on the list. It's both Avengers, Infinity War, Endgame, and of course the new Deadpool Wolverine. So let's start with Infinity War.
So good, perfect ending. Just who didn't leave their theater just mouth
I
still
wanted
open,
to
trying to
watch it
figure out the
again.
end.
Like
Yeah,
as soon as I left the film, I wanted to go in and watch it again. I remember I don't we were I was able to find tickets on that Thursday, and then we went at my job, my old job. We went as a group. Like that was we planned our outing to go to the Alamo in downtown. And then, yeah, so like I saw this movie like maybe three times opening weekend.
wow.
Um, so I would say definitely S tier. Um,
I don't know, man. Endgame has so many.
well, I think only the single character ones are allotted to only one. I think in the
Oh,
S tier.
okay, yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
these are both S tier. I
I
feel.
think so. I think so too. But
Oh yeah. Okay. Well then, I was like sitting here having a big old debate in my head as
oh,
to only
okay.
one
Well, I
of
mean,
them
we'll
could go
figure out the
through.
rankings. So
Yeah, because
I
I
think
thought it was an Avengers set, so you
then
could only pick one S tier.
we'll save our what do you call them, our arguments for the rankings of the S tier films. Um, and all right, and what about Deadpool and Wolverine?
D.
Fuck, that it's
Uh,
so soon. Like,
F. It does. There's definitely a lot of recency bias.
I want to put it at the top of the A's, and I'm tempted to put it in the S tier.
Me too.
Yeah,
really, I think my recency bias goes the other way, and I'm just like, let's wait till the dust settles, and I'm going to put it the low A's.
it just gives us so much fun shit, and that's what really I enjoy about Marvel films. In the end, I love a great story, and if it's fun, oh man, this opens fun. This has great reveals. It
It's got cool
has,
fights, cool cameos. Like the action's
yeah,
great. For a Deadpool movie, the story makes sense, which is hard to do. I think
we have resolution to Wolverine versus Sabretooth.
you get to hear "Good Riddance" at the end and cry
Yeah,
about the
you
Fox universe.
yeah. Instead of some funny cameo or whatever, they like kind of do this touching tribute to all the Fox properties, which is kind of great.
It's funny because when we do the non MCU one, I feel like this movie should also be part of that.
Yeah, it overlaps.
uh,
See, I
I
think
mean,
of it
Johnny
as
Storm, Gambit, Elektra. There's
Blade.
just so many. Yeah. I mean,
All right.
just Blade alone. If Blade was the only cameo, I'd still be fucking hyped about this movie because Wesley Snipes is awesome.
Talk us
As the
down, Jeff.
person trying to break the curve, break the curve. So like if I compare it to something like Spider-Man No Way Home that also does a little wrap up of other properties or kind of thing, like my tether emotionally to those characters is so much stronger in Spider-Man than it is to Deadpool.
I do remember you loving those Andrew Garfield films. You were like, how are we not getting any more?
Right, exactly. Yeah, and I had just gotten over Toby. So but like I did again, I feel like this out of all the Deadpool movies, this one you don't get to see Deadpool's like inherited family as much. And so for me that it loses a bit of its emotional tether to like why Deadpool is going through all the things that he's going through. And I know, like they say it a million times in the movie, like I understand the reasons, but like I just need that like little push from him to check in to be like, oh, this is why this is important to me as an audience person. So I really enjoyed it. I mean, like it is awesome. It is great. For me, I'm just like, it's it's a really fun, great movie, but it does not put me in that headspace of like, this has changed my life kind of thing.
He just wants to make sure that Negasonic Teenage Warhead and Yukio have a future together. Why
I
do you hate love?
agree.
Why do you hate
I
love,
know.
Jeff?
I wanted to see more of them in the. I like their interactions. You know,
All
When
right.
Laura
more of that.
when Laura puts on the glasses to fight, how do you not rank that higher? Because that is such a payoff from Logan. Oh, it's just so good. I love that.
See, I'm more of a fan of the. I mean, I like when Laura puts a like when Logan climbs out of the back of the hatchback for like those little weird quirky things.
Yeah.
You know,
We got the mask. We got the cool poses. I mean, he goes down into full fucking Wolverine mode and Berserker mode when him and
We got Peter.
Deadpool fight in the car.
Peter saving
also,
the day.
The
and this
fights are
has nothing
so
to do
good.
with. I feel like I also kind of want to know what's left on the cutting room floor because
Oh,
I
you'll
feel
see
like
it when they re-release the extended cut of this.
yeah, that's really what I want to see. Forget all your Snyder cuts. Give me the Sean Levy cut.
Whoa! Let's not get crazy. I'll acquiesce and put it at the top of the A just because it is so recent that
Yeah.
I don't want to look back at this list when I'm 80 years old and be like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
All right.
Guys.
How long have we been going? An hour. All right, we're gonna have to do this very quickly.
All right.
S tier rankings. What do we need to move around? I think probably the Avengers.
What
probably
order are they in right now?
Yeah.
we
What
have
order are they in right now?
Infinity War and Endgame in top 2 and try to figure out which one's better.
We have Iron Man, Wakanda. We have Iron Man, Black Panther, Winter Soldier, Multiverse of Madness, Homecoming, or No Way Home, Guardians 3, and Avengers Endgame. I think the Avengers films should probably be at the top.
Yes.
Endgame first, maybe.
Marvel was able to do something unbelievable with those two films.
Does it? But we don't get there without Iron Man.
True.
I really want to put
and that's why it's Iron Man's an S tier, but it doesn't have. I mean, Endgame and Infinity War have so much fun and great story, and just play with everything that's been built for them. So it executes it perfectly. I mean, I feel like those two are number 1 and 2.
I know how we can solve this. This would be very easy. Hold on.
Because I feel like Endgame specifically pays off Iron Man. Like you see Tony Stark's full arc right there.
Here's what we're gonna do.
Flip a coin.
No, I wish it was that easy.
Leonard Kim is gonna pick.
Yeah, no. Clay, give me your rankings, and Jeff, put your rankings together. Then I'll do mine. I think that's probably let's do that.
Okay.
Let's think about it. We'll reveal the end ranking on the next episode. How about that?
Okay.
So what to do? I'll send you guys the picture after the show. You guys put your rankings together. we'll let Josh and Kyle chime in on their own rankings on S tier, and then we'll take averages out of
I'm
everyone's
curious what
rankings.
they feel is S tier that we left out.
Well, too bad. Should have been here.
That's too bad. They should have been here.
Then I got suspended.
Josh-
We'll do the ranking that we were doing over the past couple of weeks, our tier ranking. So to give everyone a bit of, before we get into the main refresher of it, for our S tier, we had 8 different films that Jeff, Clay, and myself put on there as S tier, and we didn't know how we were going to rank them. So I figure let's just everybody make a list. We'll assign numerical values. Well, I guess that those already have numerical values. Josh gave us some input on that, and through the magic of the
Also, just to remind everybody, sorry, the S stands for hope.
The S stands for hope. So this is our final ranking of the S tier. So Jeff had Iron Man at number 1. Clay had Endgame at number 1. Josh had Black Panther number 1. He hadn't seen Guardians, so just unfortunately by default that went to number 8.
Sorry.
And then I had the Winter Soldier at number 1.
I just broke Clay's heart.
So
well, Clay's gonna write me out of his will later. I can feel it.
Yeah, I want you to watch Guardians 3 and then come back and just feel bad for the whole episode.
Okay. No, hey, that's fair. That's totally fair.
He's gonna write you into his will, and he's gonna leave you his copy of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, so that you'll eventually get to
it. Nice.
And then
on my deathbed, I'm watching Guardians 3.
So ultimately, the film that stood at the top was the one with the lowest number, of course, because that, mathematically that makes sense. So you see nice formulas. Look at that. Who said my accounting work skills don't translate over to the show?
Humble brag.
That's right. So let's.
Is that a cell pivot?
This is not a pivot table. But I can do one. But I know. So here's the final ranking. So we ended up with Infinity War at number 1 on the S tier. Then we have Avengers Endgame. Then we have the original Iron Man. Then Black Panther, Winter Soldier, No Way Home, Guardians. Even though Josh hasn't seen it, it didn't go all the way to the bottom. I think that was because of Clay's higher score.
It definitely should be 2 movies higher.
Multiverse of Madness. I don't think I wouldn't put it above the Winter Soldier. But that's just me.
I would put Black Panther.
It ties
above Iron Man.
I mean, it's so good. It ties so many things together and still sets up for anyone else to take over.
The only reason it's a little bit lower on my list is because it doesn't it's the third of a trilogy as opposed to just this movie stands alone, right? So, and that's kind of what we were trying to do. But yeah, here's our final ranking then. Here we go.
Damn.
We'll probably revisit this. Deadpool, we talked about Wolverine and Deadpool being very recency bias, which was the reason we did not put it on the S tier, but we really wanted to. So there you go. I'll save this. I'll download it. I'll share it online so you guys can critique how bad we messed up. And yeah, there you go. Our
Guardians 3, man. Guardians 3.
Our big ranking.
Josh has turned his back on us. He doesn't.
No, sorry.
He's turned his back on Rocket.
Yeah.
When I get my Rocket tattoo, I'm going to have a little word balloon that just says, "Thanks, Josh."
All right.